breaking news.
And now first at 4, exclusive breaking news out of Prospect, where state police are investigating a, quote, suspicious incident involving the longest tenured mayor in our state.
Your reporter Owen Kingsley live outside Prospect Town Hall with the story you will only see here on 3. Owen.
Well, guys, state police tell me they are investigating a suspicious incident that happened right here on Saturday, May 16th. I spoke with a family member of the alleged victim who tells me that Mayor Robert Chatfield tried to force himself on her. That same family member says they are working to hire a lawyer and did not want to comment any further. Days after the alleged incident, Mayor Chatfield went on a brief leave of absence, citing health reasons. He has since returned to the position of mayor. Town Council Chairman Mike Palmieri, who briefly became acting mayor, tells me he's unaware of the incident or accusations. Mayor Chatfield was first elected as mayor in 1977. He's the longest tenured mayor in the state of Connecticut. We spoke with Mayor Chatfield today. He confirmed he was at Town Hall on May 16th. We asked him directly what happened. What happened that day?
I think you should probably talk to my attorney, Len Crone.
We reached out to his lawyer, Leonard Crone, who says the alleged incident was an unwanted hug while trying to console an individual who recently lost a family member. He also said his understanding was that this investigation will not lead to an arrest. State police have not said when they expect to conclude their investigation. Now, all of this is happening just a couple days before a large town budget vote later this week for the town's annual budget and a town council meeting that is coming up later tonight. We have more details on both these meetings, how you can speak directly to town leaders yourself as early as tonight. For now, your reporter live in Prospect, I'm Owen Kingsley, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.